Mr. Jennings.
Yes, sir. Thank you. A couple of things I'd like to raise here. You know, I am a former resident of that community. I am a native of that community. Many years ago, 2 blocks north of the Smile Restaurant was where I led the fight, along with help from the city staff and the police department, to take away alcohol license from a convenience store called B&E. Now, this happened many years ago, and this is all a part of the history of that community. At that time, every one of those persons that now hang out on Queen Street that Mr. Thompson is talking about patronized that business. The point I'm making here is that all we're looking at here is an opportunity to make the alcohol that much more convenient to those same people. And as Mr. Thompson alluded to a little while ago, he knows that consumption is going on there, but he's not sure where they're getting it from. So if we supported this alcoholic consumption, if you will, at that location, all we're doing is living the problem. Since that time, I have, many of you may not believe this, but I have very deep spiritual components in my life now. And I'm an ordained deacon in Ebenezer Church at 909 Queen Street. So because of that, there's no way I can support alcoholic consumptions, and I don't care to support alcoholic consumptions of any kind in the community. But given the history of that community, I think that alcohol should be denied at that Smile Market on that corner. That would turn out to be a very hot location. And and in listening to the comments of the speakers who are now living there, who are now victimized by all the problems that are going on there, I'm convinced that if we supported the alcoholic beverages at that location, it's only going to exacerbate their problems. For that reason, I'd like to make a motion that this application be approved and that the alcoholic beverages as a condition be denied in its entirety at that location.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend approval of the application with the deletion of condition, where the change to condition number 5 to say that alcohol service is not permitted. Mr. Dunn.
Mr. Chairman, just for full discussion, and I don't feel as passionate about this as Mr. Jennings does, I'd like to make an alternate motion. And my alternate motion would be, in a sense, to support the staff recommendation to add conditions about the number of persons could be no outdoor seating, and to emphasize, which the staff report I think gives the wrong impression, that the no off-premise is not something that's a transition, but there have to be a long proving to get that. And to emphasize also that condition 19 is very much in play. And under condition 19, section B, the director has received, would be required to post this in 6 months if the director has received a request from any person to docket the permit for review as a result of a complaint that arises to the level of violation of the permit conditions. We have typically drawn a major distinction between restaurants that serve alcohol and off-premise. And I think that the great percentage of the concerns that the neighbors have comes from the off-premise situation. And I'm not sure that the problem won't still exist, but I do think it would be fairer to the applicant who's struggling with a business, and this business may be a good business for the community, to do that. So that is my alternate proposal alternate motion if there's a second.
I would second that. I certainly think that, agree that off-premises is inappropriate for this location, but I am not sure that there is necessarily a link between the on-premises consumption and the people who are behaving inappropriately out on the street. I'm not sure that one of them would go in and buy Ethiopian food just to get something alcoholic when they could go to a convenience store and just buy the stuff directly. And I would prefer to give the applicant 6 months to see if they can make it work and stay within the law. So I would support Mr. Dunn's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let me just make sure that the motion